Hey everyone, Blaze here. It's the end of September, so obviously, as you all know, that means it's time for the July anime pickups. Yeah, late as always, have been for a while, but hey. Okay, so I've got a nice little pile of stuff here that I picked up in July. So we're going to start off with Pokemon the Movie Trilogy in a lovely steelbook from Viz Media on Blu Ray. This is the first time that these films have been made available in English on Blu Ray. Well, actually, no, I think in Japan, I think the giant, super expensive Pokemon movie Blu Ray box had English support, maybe, from what I've heard. But yeah, anyway. But this is the first time it's been reasonably priced. I picked this up just before it was started to go out print. I don't know if it's gotten reprinted recently, but I'd noticed that it started to go up in price in some places. So I went to Amazon Canada to buy this one in a sale, and I got it really cheap because it was on sale, but also it came insanely quickly. I bought it I think on like a Monday, and by Wednesday it had travelled all the way across the Atlantic and into my post box, which was awesome. So yeah, I was actually kind of on the fence about buying this though. I wanted it purely for the nostalgia of the movies, and I thought it'd be nice to own just the movies. But I was worried about buying them because I thought I might end up buying the TV series once I have the movies. Wait till next month to find out what happened. Pretty sure you can guess, unfortunately. But yeah, so we've got the three movies here. I really like the design of this all round. Like, I like the spine on this with the three movies. I'm not a huge fan of the fact they just printed all the information on the back, but I'm not overly against it in this case either. And on the inside, we've got some advertisements. I'm really impressed though that each movie is on its own disc. So this is a free Blu-ray set, which is expensive. So they obviously expected to sell a lot of these, and I imagine they probably did. But yeah, I was actually really surprised. I thought these would all be on one disc, or two at most. But yeah, each movie on its own disc, which is really awesome. I don't think I've seen the third movie. I think I probably have, but I don't remember it all. I've seen the first one obviously multiple times. I remember when I first got this for Christmas on VHS. Yes, that's how old I am. I got this in the bright yellow VHS release of the film, which had the Pikachu summer vacation special, like 5 minutes at the beginning. That's where I first saw like Snubbull and Maril and stuff. But yeah, I don't believe those are on these, unfortunately. It's a shame. But yeah, I remember when I got that film for, I think it's for my birthday. My birthday's right before Christmas. So yeah, I think I was going to have it for my birthday, and I remember sneaking into my mum's room like a naughty kid a couple of weeks before, and I watched. I was gonna. She was like out for hours and hours now. She wasn't going to be back for quite a while, and I was going to watch the whole thing. But then I put it in, and I watched the first 5 minute thing, like I talked about with Snubbull and Marrow, and then I felt super guilty and put it back. I don't believe I've ever told her, not that she'd really care, but I don't think I'd ever told her that I did that. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, Pokemon, the movie, Blu-ray Steelbook, Trilogy, really cool. I haven't checked out the video quality on this, but from what I've seen from reviews, it's pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good stuff. Obviously no Japanese. I don't know necessarily why Japanese just is never on the Pokemon releases, but it's not. So okay, next up we'll go to this one, the Galaxy Express 3.9 movie Blu-ray box from South Korea. This is the limited edition set. I wanted to get this when it was originally in print. This actual version is currently out of print, although just within the last couple of weeks they're doing a standard version in South Korea. Same discs, just probably in a Blu-ray case or something for this. But anyway, I had wanted to get this back in the day, but I didn't know back then when this was in print how to import from Korea. I do now. I know many places to do that, but back then I had no clue, so I just didn't really put it high on my priority list. Also, you know, Discotek have released the DVDs, and you know they're pretty good. So, and they also include the English dubs, which these do not. Not that the English dubs are worth having in many ways, but as a completionist, I do appreciate having the old English dubs, or at least one of the old English dubs, on the Discotek release. But anyway, yeah, so I wanted to get this, couldn't. But a YouTuber who I watch, a compulsive collector from down under in Australia, very nice YouTuber, she was selling some of her collection off, and she wanted to sell this, and knowing that from my videos I'm a pretty big Leijiverse fan, she offered me the set, asked if I was interested, and I totally was. She gave me a great deal for it. So yeah, I finally own this set on Blu Ray. And the cool thing about owning the movies on Blu Ray, at least, unlike the TV series in Japan, this is not upscaled, this is actually a proper transfer, kinda. This is high definition, like it's properly detailed. Unfortunately, and I did know this before buying it, so it wasn't like I was disappointed that I had expectations of what these are actually like. They are DNR'd to hell. All the film grain is gone. It's just been completely erased. And in animation, I've heard a lot of people say, that's not a big deal, you know, it's like relatively simple, the line, you know, there's not a lot of detail to lose. I completely disagree. I feel like the film grain, obviously, the grain in the film is where the detail is. It literally, that is where the information of said detail is. So, you wipe away any of it, you're wiping away detail. It doesn't matter what you do, you're wiping it away. Plus, I really like the texture of film grain. I think it makes everything look much more natural and alive and textured in a way that when you just DNR it all, it just, yeah, you just don't get the same results at all. Like in live action, it makes everything look like, every human looks like a waxwork. Like they got all the details gone, like all the the little details they would have had in like wrinkles on their face have been wiped out and stuff. It's like they just look terrible. And in anime, it doesn't quite have that same effect. It's not as bad, but it kind of gives everything this slight Vaseline look, as everything's just been slightly smudged and smoothed a bit too much. And I for example, on Mobile Suit Gundam 79 on Blu-ray. I don't think this is the same for any of the other Blu-ray releases, but for that one they did DNRing on that as well, like really heavily, and because it was a 16mm print, which means the grain would have been much more noticeable and larger compared to something like 30mm and stuff. So yeah, they did that on Mobile Suit Gundam 79, and when I was watching that, I enjoyed Gundam for what it was. Like it's a classic series. I thought it was pretty good, not amazing, but pretty good. But the video presentation I was kind of disappointed by, honestly. Like it was the first time I'd watched the series, and I just felt like in many ways I saw transfers of the DVDs out there, like the old Bandai DVDs, and I said, you know what, I probably would have preferred watching those, because even though they're not as high resolution, I just feel like the texture that they have, because I'm pretty sure those still had the film grain intact, it just looks nicer. Like it just generally gives a much more crisp looking textured picture. And I am someone who does, like, I won't lie about this, like, I just like film grain. Like, I just like the look of it. So yeah, even if it's like artificially imposed, like it was on something like Eureka 7 on Blu-ray, they put a film grain on it to give it like this textured look in the upscale, and I think it looks great. Like it really adds to it. But yeah, like, so I'm a big fanboy of the film grain stuff. But anyway, whatever. So I've watched the first film, and I said it. I think it looked really good in terms of like just seeing it in high definition and stuff. It did look good, but I was slightly disappointed with the detail and the waxy look to everything. But I'm very happy to own these. I don't know if Discotek are going to get around to releasing these. Leijiverse is very much on the mind right now, because Leijiverse is something that Discotek have suddenly jumped into, and I'm really excited the fact that they're finally doing it. I've been waiting for them to push the Leijiverse button for ages. They've been like pushing the Go Nagai button over and over and over again, which I'm fine with, but I've been waiting for them to push the button on Leijiverse, and it looks like they're finally doing it. I want to do a Discotek update, like my normal license roundup for them pretty soon. I did film one, but I wasn't very happy with it, so I want to do it again. But yeah, I'll be doing that soon and be talking about that in further detail. But yeah, very happy that Leijiverse stuff is coming out again officially. And maybe Discotek will do Blu-rays for the films, like these transfers, and maybe do Eternal Fantasy as well. Because, you know, they've been upgrading some of their older films and just releases to Blu-ray recently, like Golgo 13, which I just bought. So anyway, next. Christ, we're already 10 minutes in, what the hell? Okay, next up we've got Heroic Legend of Arslan. This is the UK release. This is part 1, the collector's edition from Universal Pictures. If you remember, I think it was in the last video, I talked about Seraph of the End. This is the next one they've done. This is just beautiful once again. I'm really surprised that Funimation did nothing, not even a limited edition for Heroic Legend of Arslan. Like, it makes no sense to me at all. I don't know if they're going to do a collector's box with maybe part, like the season 2 with just the 8 episodes or something, and then that'll put all 3 parts in there or something. It just feels really weird because this show is surely like one of the bigger selling shows you would think for Funimation. I would imagine it's going to be one of the bigger selling shows because it's a Awakawa series. Well, Awakawa designed. It's the manga is an adaptation of the novels. She did a manga adaptation of the novels, and now it's her adaptation has been turned into an anime with all her character designs, so it all looks like Fullmetal Alchemist. And yeah, I'm probably not going to unbox this right now because there's so much stuff in here. There's posters and a big book and all sorts of art cards and everything. If you guys want to see what this set looks like, I'm sure there are YouTube videos unboxing it. I may do an unboxing for this at some point myself. I keep promising these unboxings and I rarely do them, so don't hold your breath on that. But it's a very beautiful set and I'm very happy to have it. Okay, next up we've got another Kawajiri film. I want to get all of his stuff that he directed, and this one was by far the strangest one that I think he's done. I really don't know what this is going to be like. It's got like really meager ratings, and I've actually never seen the film, but this is a sequel to, I believe. But yeah, this is, or at least a spin-off. This is Highlander: The Search for Vengeance, which is a Madhouse film. Yoshiaki Kawajiri directed, who's the guy who did Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust and Wicked City and the Clamp X TV series and stuff. So yeah, this is another one of his films. This one is the first one I think he would have done that would have been all digital. Yeah, I don't know. Like I know the film is like notorious for being this crazy sci-fi fantasy film, and I'm not quite sure if the original film is considered so bad it's good, or if it's some of the sequels that are probably more likely to be considered so bad it's good. I think it has sequels, Highlander, I think. But yeah, I've always wanted to check it out because it just seems really crazy, because it's got this medieval fantasy on one side, and I think at some point it turns into just like this hard sci-fi stuff, which is kind of cool, and this seems to be following the same thing according to the cover. So yeah, I picked this up really cheap. The DVD's a bit battered, but the disc is fine, so... Highlander: The Search for Vengeance. Like I said, I don't think I'll be watching this until I watch the film, so I can get a better grasp. Like I need to watch the film, the original film, before diving into this. But yeah, Highlander: The Search for Vengeance. It's from Manga Entertainment. Next up, we've got Ghost in a Shell Standalone Complex Season 2, or the second gig. This one long needed to be in the collection. I actually used to have it. I used to have the tin art box with the steelbooks inside, but yeah, I've been needing to pick this one up for a while to really complete somewhat the Masamune Shirow collection, because right now I only need the second, the third and the fourth Arise films, and the new Ghost in the Shell movie, and then I'll have pretty much everything. I'll have everything Ghost in the Shell at least, and then I think I'll have all of the Masamune Shirow stuff that's been put out so far, at least the stuff that's like cyberpunk and all that. So yeah, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the first season of Standalone Complex, which is a bit of a controversial statement. I know that these series are held in extremely high regard, and I like the aesthetic and the atmosphere and just the general design of the original Ghost in the Shell movie, directed by Mamoru Oshii. I like that so much that when I went to watch Standalone Complex, and it's obviously an episodic series, I didn't think it was quite as dark, and I just didn't think the colour palette was right, and I just didn't, it wasn't 90s cyberpunk, it was more like 2000s clean sci-fi, which is what most anime is these days. That's the thing I really miss in anime. Is in the 90s it was all this grungy look, like post-apocalyptic sci-fi, cyberpunk basically, where you have like, you know, huge scientific advances but low living standards in society. I really love that aesthetic and idea. and I just don't think Ghost in the Shell here, standalone complex anyway, at least for the first season, really did anything with that was that good. My brain sort of derailed there, but anyway, yeah. So standalone complex season 2, I needed to get it. I picked it up. I know that these are streaming in high definition in America now, which could mean a Blu-ray is incoming. And obviously there's the South Korean Blu-rays, there's also the Japanese Blu-rays, but there's also South Korean Blu-rays that have Season 1 and Season 2 on Blu-ray with English dub and sub. But those are really large box sets, also quite expensive. The series is like originally in high definition, so those are certainly worth having, the Blu-rays. I just wasn't willing to put that sort of money down for a series and a franchise, like I said, that I'm not a huge fan of. Like I said, I just didn't really like the first one. Plus, I have the, I can't actually reach them right now, but I have the movie compilations on Blu-ray for each of these seasons, so, you know, I've got those at least on Blu-ray. But anyway, yeah, Standalone Complex, Season 2. Meaning to pick it up for a very, very long time again, so I have the Ghost in the Shell collection pretty much complete now, so yeah. Anyway, another one for the manga OVA collection, if you will. Shadow Skill. Still got the used stickers on it I need to get rid of. But yeah, Shadow Skill, this is the OVA collection technically, but it has the epilogue untouched, but the 3-episode OVA, the original one, is edited into a film. I think it only cuts the opening and endings out, and nothing from the actual episodes is actually cut. So I think it just presents it as a film presentation rather than just a 3-episode OVA, which is not really a big deal in my opinion. I'm okay with it. It has obviously English dub and sub, which I'll be looking forward to checking out, the English dub, because hey, it's a manga release. This looks to be sort of supernatural fantasy ninjas and warriors and stuff, with demons maybe. It's interesting, I guess. I haven't heard the greatest things about it, but I wanted to check it out. It was cheap, and it's another one for the Manga Entertainment collection. As you guys know, I'm quite a fan of what manga was releasing back in the day. There's one other thing here I've got from Manga Entertainment, which I guess we should just talk about now, shall we? I freaking love this. This is previously, if anyone ever asked me what is the worst but what is the so bad it's good anime that you can recommend, it would be Mad Ball 34. And this would still be one of the answers to that question I would certainly give. The only problem is it's 45 minutes an episode and there's 4 of them. You kind of only need to see the first one to really get an idea of what this is actually like. But I love this piece of crap. I think it's hilariously terrible, and I've watched it twice through. I'll watch it many times more in the future. I really love how just unbelievably terrible this is. But I have another one here that is totally a contender, and definitely an answer to that question, and that is Manga Entertainment's release of Psychic Wars. This is a OVA, I believe it was animated by Toei. Yeah, it's 60 minutes long, although actually I think it's only about 50 minutes, maybe just a bunch of credits. I don't think it ran for 60 minutes. But this is insanely terrible in the best way. It's so ridiculous. It kind of similar to Highlander, I guess, in the sense that I'm just gonna read the back, okay? So we've got a brilliant surgeon, Retsu, performs an operation to remove a cancer from a mysterious old woman. The cancer turns out to be a 5,000-year-old demon, a dark messenger from Japan's ancient past, heralding a demonic invasion of the Earth. Retsu travels to the remains of an ancient city, where he finds a gateway in the fabric of time, which enables him to travel back 5,000 years. Remember, this film is like 50 minutes long. There in Earth's past, he discovers a race of demons who are planning to use the gateway to travel to the present in order to destroy mankind and to make the Earth their own. Can Retsu defeat the ancient race of demons and save the Earth, or will mankind be wiped out forever? Psychic Wars is an intense and chilling anime thriller, which is a hilarious statement, directed by Tetsuo Imazawa, based on an adaptation of Yasuaki Karata's popular sci-fi novel. This thing is batshit insane. It is hilarious. A lot of the time you'll be just going, what the fuck is even happening right now? The animation is just like suitably, like, it's okay. Like, it's not terrible animation, but it's just suitably ridiculous. And just some of the scenes in this and the fight scenes, and just a lot of the time I was watching it, it's like, I don't know what's going on right now, and for some reason this is totally okay with me because this is hilarious. I'm loving this. Psychic Wars is an absolute gem. I am so happy to pick this up. I've been trying to track it down for a good price for ages. I had no idea what this was going to be, what this was going to be like. I just wanted it because it was another stupid manga thing. But this is like the best stupid manga thing. Like, this is the thing I've been apparently looking for this whole time, because I say I like Angel Cop and all that, and I like Vampire Wars is another one, which is kind of ridiculous. But I feel like some of at least with Angel Cop and Vampire Wars, there's some like redeeming factor to them, where like, yeah, they're really really stupid, but they're still kind of have some redeeming factor. Like Angel Cop, it's like the violence and the gore and the action. In Vampire Wars, it's got a ridiculous story, but it's also kind of an endearing, interesting story in some way, and the characters are kind of funny. I don't know, but Psychic Wars is just on another level of just absolute pure absurdity, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out and buying the DVD, but go and check this out somewhere if you can. It's probably on YouTube or any other, a number of illegal streaming sites. I'm just going to push it out there. Like, you need to see this. It's worth the 50 minutes of your life. Watch it dubbed, and just have the time of your life, because it is absolutely superb. It's so bad and so amazing. Psychic Wars. Did I show the disc? I can't remember if I did. There's a disc in case I forgot. But yeah, Psychic Wars is just an absolute gem, and one I am so happy to have in my collection. Okay, next up we've got another one that I'm pretty happy to have in my collection, at least based on the experience I had with episode 1 yesterday, and that is Azazel, You're Being Summoned. This is the Nozomi Entertainment release, Right Stuff. This is all 26 episodes, but the running time is only a single core, since each episode is only 13 minutes long, so it's the equivalent running time of about 13 to 12 or 13 episodes. I really enjoyed the first episode of this. This is not something I would normally think I would like, but I watched a trailer for it. I was always curious about it ever since it was announced. It got announced at the same time as, what the hell was the name of that show? The baking one that they put out from Sunrise. I'm completely blanking on the name right now. No, it's gone. Not even going to try. All I can think of is Yowamushi Pedal, because it also begins with Y, but it's obviously not that. But anyway, yeah. Azazel, You're Being Summoned, it was announced at the same Anime Expo that other show was announced at, and yeah, finally picked it up. Trailer was amazing. It's full of blood and just like comedic humour. The humour is quite crude. It's about a detective agency, like a private detective agency, who basically people come in, he helps them solve their problems. It's all kind of seen through the eyes of the receptionist, like the new employee receptionist, who's pretty much down to earth and like normal compared to everybody else. And yeah, he uses demonic summons to help with his detective work. And yeah, at least for the first episode with this demon pig thing here, it's insanely funny. Like this, the humor's quite crude. There's a lot of sexual innuendo and sexual jokes and stuff. But it was really, really funny overall. Like it's pretty extreme. Like there's a scene in this, like in just the first episode alone, where he ends up summoning this pig for like the second or third time or something in the space of 13 minutes, as the pig just keeps messing up each job or whatever, where he's literally having sex with another demonic pig at the same time. I think he's meant to be a pig or something. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. But yeah, it's pretty funny, and yeah, totally recommend. Like, it's got loads of blood, amazing like animated faces and stuff, which I always like in anime. This was really, really funny, at least based on the first episode, and I'm looking forward to eventually watching all of it. So that's Azazel, You're Being Summoned. I highly recommend checking this one out. I think if you live in America, you can watch it on YouTube. Nozomi Entertainment tend to put a lot of their stuff on YouTube if you're in America. So yeah, you can check it out on YouTube for free. But yeah, Azazel, You're Being Summoned. Really, really awesome. Okay, we have 5 things left. I've got 2 Mamoru Oshii things here. The first one is Sky Crawlers. This is a 2008, 9 or something film. I can't quite remember. Maybe 2010. I honestly forget. But yeah, this is very different for Mamoru Oshii in terms of what you would normally expect from his films. Like, obviously he did Ghost in the Shell, and he's obviously done Pat Labor and stuff. He tends to like go really deep into the sci-fi stuff, and I don't believe this is very sci-fi like. It's another aviation themed anime, so that's the main reason I wanted to pick it up, and plus I've been meaning to pick it up for ages on Blu Ray. But yeah, another one of his films. I'm looking forward to it. As I said, I've been watching a lot of the aviation anime recently. Not a big plane guy in real life, but I just really like seeing this stuff animated. I think it looks cool, like sky battles and stuff, and this looks like it will provide that. It doesn't have the greatest of ratings, but I wonder if that's not partly due to the fact that this is a reasonably sizable departure for what you expect from a Moriyoshi. But anyway, yeah, so we've got Sky Crawlers on Blu-ray. I will be looking forward to watching that sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's Sky Crawlers. And the other thing I picked up from him, long overdue, this is from Discotek, and as is, I finally picked up Dallos. Given how much of a big OVA fan I am, and the fact that Discotek actually put this out, I should have picked this up ages ago, because Dallos is the first ever OVA released in Japan back in 1983. And for those of you who don't know what OVA means, it's original video animation, and it can also be said as OAV, original anime or animated video. And basically it means it's anime that was not made for television, it was made for just video release and rental and home video purchase first, and that was the main market. And it allowed them to make stuff that was slightly more experimental because you're selling it directly to the fans, as well as stuff that was more mature and graphic that you just couldn't put on television. Dallos is neither of those things necessarily. It's not overly experimental and it's not overly mature. It's kind of cool. I felt going in, I was expecting something slightly more interesting rather than the sort of by the book sci-fi story that this kind of is. When you see like the sort of imagery we got at the front here, we got the lone I guess astronaut walking through a graveyard on the moon, sorry, with the Earth in the background. I don't know, that sort of imagery, and the opening to this with the actual Dallos thing, which is like this godly science, this godly scientific like machine structure on the moon, the face of the moon and stuff, and like I said, the opening theme to this is amazing. It goes like dun 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 dun. It's like hugely orchestral and really awesome. I might put a link to that. It's one of my favourite openings I've ever seen in an anime. But yeah, in the end, like the story is very reminiscent of the sort of anime that was being made at the time, of like these mecha stories and stuff. And it's not necessarily mecha, so it's kind of similar to Macross in a way. But yeah, I honestly was sort of disappointed with it, but it was a cool experience to see something so classic come out, because yeah, this is the first ever OVA, and given how much I enjoy a good OVA, it seemed something I should have picked up a while ago, but I finally have now, and I'm very much grateful for Discotek for putting this out. So yeah, we've got Dallos. One of the coolest things about this release is there is a documentary on it called Remembering Dallos, 1983 to 2003. I presume this was a feature that was on the original 2003 DVD release from Japan, I'm guessing. And yeah, it's a feature-length documentary with all the creators, including Moriyoshi, just talking about the making of Dallos and the impact it had on the industry, like then and into the future, in terms of like because it was the first OVA and the first of its kind. It's really cool and totally worth the price of entry alone. So yeah, if you've watched this and not necessarily were over the moon, for lack of a better term and a terrible pun, yeah, with it, I would suggest that if you watched on Crunchyroll or something, I would suggest that honestly the special feature documentary on here is kind of worth the price of entry alone. So yeah, that's Dallos. Okay, 3 more things. If you remember in the last video I talked about Siren Visual, a really cool company from Australia that seem to have gone stale at the moment and don't seem to be releasing anything at all, and they haven't announced. They've kind of gone NIS. They're like like the trails run cold, like pretty much. They just don't seem to have released anything for quite a while. It's mainly because they got taken over. But anyway, as a result, I wanted to pick up a lot of their stuff that was exclusive to them, because they were really cool. They would put out stuff that just you cannot get in America or anywhere else in the world in English officially, and So I picked up 2 more things that they've had that were exclusive, as well as something else I bought from them that was just for pure convenience sake. So I'm going to start with that one. I picked up Samurai Horror Tales, which obviously Genian put out in English in America, but they only ever put it out in 3 separate volumes. This is the only complete collection release that I'm aware of in English. So yeah, I decided to pick this one up. Been meaning to check it out for a while. It's a Noitomina series, so it's something that's definitely always been on my radar to watch, since I want to watch all of those at some point. Yeah, it's basically Samurai Horror Tales. It's split into 3 arcs, all of it set in the samurai period, I guess, the best way to put it, and yeah, all of them with a horror nature to their story. So apparently these 2 here on the outside aren't particularly great, but the one in the middle, the Goblin Cat, which stars the medicine seller, I think he's called, or something, this one's supposed to be really good. In fact, it was so good they made a sequel spin-off thing called Mononoke, which did come out in America for a new video group as well as Siren Visual themselves. But yeah, anyway, Samurai Horror Tales, always wanted to watch it, so I decided to pick up this release because it was in a nice compact case, and it looks really nice as well. I like the design of it overall. So yeah, that's that. My voice is coming to an end at the moment. So yeah, we've got Noitomina release again, Noitomina show again, another Siren Visual release, Hakaba Kitaro, which is a 2008 or 7 Noitomina series, one of the earlier ones. It was done originally in high def. Siren Visual didn't really handle Blu Ray very often, but especially for stuff that they were doing exclusively. But yeah, Hakaba Kitaro out on DVD. But hey, it's not out in America at all or anywhere else in the world in English, so I decided to pick it up. This is part of the Gigigi no Kitaro franchise, although this one is sort of a very different approach to that, because that stuff tends to be it's like family friendly kid stuff, like it's family friendly yokai stories basically, starring Kitaro. This one a bit different, even though I think it's set in a lot of the same characters and set in a similar, or maybe not set in the same place, but just similar style, I guess, to some extent, with light humour and slight supernatural elements. But I also think this is a slightly more mature, not in a horrific way, just slightly more mature, not quite as kid friendly maybe. Yeah, I was pretty much because it was part of the Noitomina line. But anyway, yeah. So Hakaba Kitaro, I have not watched it yet. I'm looking forward to doing so. It's on 2 discs. So yeah, that's Hakaba Kitaro, and that brings us to the final thing. Seems I always do these at about 35 minutes each, it seems. That's the last 2 anyway. Okay, the last thing is Kaiba from Siren Visual. This is a Masaki Yuasa, or is it? Yeah, Masaki Yuasa series. It's the same guy that did Atomic Galaxy and Ping Pong Club, or just Ping Pong the animation, not club. Ping Pong Club's a completely different series. Anyway, yeah, Ping Pong the animation, stuff like that. He did Memories, the film, not Memories, crap, I'm messing up, Mind Game, he did from Studio 4C. So yeah, this is another one of the TV series he did. And I've been meaning to pick it up for a while. Finally have. I was kind of hoping NIS America would eventually put this out on Blu-ray, but they never did. So I decided to pick up Siren Visual release on DVD. So yeah, this is like a sci-fi series. It's got very abstract design to it. You should totally check out a trailer for this. It's very different looking to your normal anime, but yeah, sci-fi story. Eventually looking forward to watching this one, very much indeed. So yeah, it comes in a slipcover, and got a different piece of art underneath, which is cool. And the disc on the inside. So yeah, that's everything I picked up for July. I think for August I have almost a similar amount, but from there on in September I have way less stuff because I'm trying to cut back, obviously, as you found out in one of my earlier videos and stuff. So yeah, that's everything for July. I'm Blaze. Thanks for watching this really long video. Sorry it took so long to come out. Again, I hope to do the August one maybe a little bit sooner than it's taken me to do this one. And I'll also hope to do a Discotek update soon. But other than that, I'm Blaze. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.